Hello everybody, Dominomial here, and welcome back to another episode of Super Mario Galaxy 2. Last episode, Why do I keep saying last episode when I have nothing to say about what happened about last episode? Just watch last episode if you haven't. No, like seriously, what am I supposed to say in a platforming game like this? I jumped around in World 3. I did some lava platforming. Cool. I mean, you know what happens in Mario games. Mario jumps. Mario does backflips. That's all. So I guess in this level we have the rock ability. Cool. Rock, my favorite obscure Mario power-up. Okay, there's the rock mushroom. Rock mushroom. Mario Rock Johnson. Actually... Nah, I already collected 2 star pieces. I'm not gonna do the secret star. Where is the last one? I know we're... Is it here? Nope. It's been a while since I played this game, so I don't remember where all... Fuck! Get away from me, ice chilies, or whatever. There's the star piece, and then I know where the last one is. It's in this Goomba right here. You don't want to know how long that took me to find as a kid. So I recently started watching, rewatching Fairly Odd Parents. The last time I watched it was when I was a kid, and it was actually airing on TV. So I started rewatching it, just, you know, out of the blue, because, like, you know what, I don't remember too much about this cartoon. Let's see if it holds up. Turns out it holds up surprisingly well. Like, yeah, sure, like, it did come out in 2006, and there are some episodes that are a little bit questionable in this day and age. But, if I were to, you know... If I were to complain and get angry about a show that aired in 2006 and different culture standards at the time, then I wouldn't have a life. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, some of the episodes certainly didn't age well. Like, one episode, Timmy wished, like, all the girls and boys were, like, separated. Okay, come on. And, like, they created the Berlin Wall, except the Girlin Wall. It was kind of a stupid episode. Both male and female stereotypes, and, like, you know what? Whatever. It's funny. It's stupid. Yeah. Like, it's not, like, funny as in, like, haha, laughing at the girls or the boys, just laughing at, like, the stereotypes. You know what I mean? I'm laughing at the show, not with the show. But meanwhile, in, like, season 1 or 2, there's, like, an episode where, like, Timmy, like, jokingly wishes, like, oh, yeah, I wish I was a girl. Turns into a girl, and, it's like the whole moral of that episode, the lesson is like, yeah, it's okay to be a girl and like guy stuff, or a guy that likes girl stuff. Like, you know what? That episode actually aged really well, even though, like, you know, it aged pretty well. It has a good lesson at the end of the day when you think it could have gone in such a different direction. But all the other episodes that aren't questionable are pretty decent, actually. They're pretty good. It's one of those shows where I definitely liked it more as a kid, but I can kind of appreciate some of its sense of humor growing up, because they have a surprising amount of adult jokes in that show. Like, Cosmo is literally the best character in that show. Like, I kid you not. Cosmo is fucking awesome. There's the key. The key is in the blue area in the comet. Cool. And some of these comets, they change up the location of some of the things so that it throws you off and you don't know where to go. No, come on. Come on, game. So yeah, I've been rewatching Fairly Odd Parents. It's cool. I'm on like season 3 right now. I started rewatching it about a week ago, just kind of on and off. And yeah, I've been having a good time. It's cool. The intro of that show, the opening, is still fucking awesome. It's like really good. I forgot how good the opening song of that show was. And how much I still remembered of it even after like 12... Fuck. No, more than 12 years. So yeah, it's kind of funny how I've been rewatching Fairly Odd Parents, but I haven't really given any new modern TV shows a chance yet. I don't really watch modern TV, because, you know, I watch anime, I'm a fucking weeb. But recently, me and a couple of friends gathered, and we just randomly watched the first episode of a show called Umbrella Academy. And the first thing I immediately thought of was like Umbrella Corps from like Resident Evil, but it's not that. It's Umbrella Academy, and apparently it was a comic. And it's basically Harry Potter with superpowers. But if it was an orphanage with only 7 kids, and they weren't kids, but it, in fact, time skipped to back when they're adults, and they get together and have a very terrible family reunion and have to get along. Or some shit like that. So basically, it's not Harry Potter. I just use that as a fucking way to mold the show into what it is. I watched the first episode and I'm like, intriguing. Seems interesting. And then, like, I go on my usual site that I use to watch shows, definitely wherever it is unofficially and not through other means. And like, I have like second episode pulled up on my computer. I could watch it at any time. But I just haven't. I haven't watched it because it's just... Why are TV shows so long nowadays? Why does every episode have to be an hour? What the fuck? I don't have time to sit down for an hour with full well, I do have time. But I don't want to sit down for a full hour paying, like, at least like 70% of my attention to a show so that I can like follow the plot, follow the characters, follow like kind of the subtle nuances of the show and like what it's trying to say. Like, I want to get invested in the show, but it's just an hour? I remember when shows were like at least like 20 minutes. Just like 25 minutes. That's it. Like, is it... and like, I asked my friends, like, why are TV shows so long nowadays? And they're like, just, that's how it is. I guess that's kind of because, like, cable doesn't really have as big of a role anymore. And people just have more time to binge watch stuff on, like, Netflix and, like, other streaming services that, like, they don't really care if they spend an hour as long as they can put something on in the background. But, like, when I watch shows, I don't usually put them on in the background because I have to pay attention to what they're saying, because otherwise I won't really catch any of it, and I won't follow the plot because I'll be distracted. And because of that, like, I guess I'm just not really a good, like, I guess I'm just not really meant to watch some of these TV shows. If they're like an hour long, you have to pay attention to them or just watch them, and like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather play a game. I'd rather record. I'd rather write in Joanna's journal entries. Like, I'd rather listen to music. It's not as if I hate watching TV shows. It's just like, I don't want to dedicate that amount of time to concentrating on one thing. Like, the reason why I watch, like, YouTube videos, like, that are, like, hour and a half long, or, like, very long sometimes, isn't because I actually fully watch them most of the time. I usually have them on in the background, doing something. Or, like, I'm playing a game while listening to somebody talk about whatever. Like, I enjoy watching Vinny Vinesauce, and also Joel, because they have streams. They're pretty funny sometimes, and I don't have to pay full attention to them 24/7 because they don't expect me to. Actually, I'm gonna do that secret star before going to the castle and ending the episode. So, yeah, I know. I guess I just kind of need to figure out a good TV show that I'm interested in right from the get-go. Because it really didn't help that the first episode of Umbrella Academy was kind of really slow. Not really anything happened besides, like, introducing the character dynamics. And I'm all for having, like, good characters and, like, slowly writing them out and, like, making them interesting. But I felt like none of them really amounted to anything besides character tropes. They didn't really feel any more nuanced to me than, like, any other, like, anti-heroes, superheroes, or whatever. Like, one of the superheroes was, like, addicted to substance, or one of the, like, the kids that, the adults, like, was addicted to substances. The one that, like, we're introduced with, that's, like, the ordinary one that doesn't have superheroes. She's just fucking annoying. She's just stupid. I don't like her. And everybody else hates her, too. And I can kind of agree with that. She just does nothing besides complain. Or like, oh, I'm so sad. My dad never loved me. Meanwhile, all of them are like that. Like, yeah, your dad didn't like any of you. Whatever. Big deal. How about you talk to your siblings and get over it? And I know siblings aren't exactly the nicest people, as one who has 5 of them. But, like, come on. If your character is too realistic and boring, then, like, it's not gonna be fun to watch. Like, thing is, characters are supposed to be realistic to a point. Create an overly realistic character, and it's not going to be that interesting to watch them. unless the whole point of the thing you're trying to create, the story you're trying to create, is that they're so realistic to a fault that, like, you draw analogies to, like, real life and, like, compare yourself to them, like, and, like, they're just so boring and, like, dead inside, or, like, trying to find happiness in life. Like, thing is, life sucks. I mean, it's blunt, but it's kind of true. Writing a very realistic character that follows, like, the laws of, like, you know, real life, that's, like, boring and not fun and kind of bad, like, a lot of the time, it doesn't really make for an interesting story. It just makes for a depressing one. And if you want to make a depressing story, that's fine. Like, Death of a Salesman, I haven't seen it, but I hear that's a really good movie for basically that exact reason. It's just so realistic and so relatable that you just can't help but feel the tragedy much more than anything Shakespeare would write. Because it's like, you know, on common grounds, it could feasibly happen. People want to be special, but, like, they know that, like, they're just common. People are common, and there's nothing special differentiating me from you. The only difference between me and you is that I was stupid enough to actually go through with creating some kind of fucking YouTube channel. So I guess realistic characters aren't bad, but most people don't really try to write them too realistically. And Umbrella Academy doesn't really have the most realistic characters. I just kind of went off on a tangent like that. The characters are just kind of boring because they're trying to be more realistic with them. Even though I only watched the first episode and it could completely change. This is like the first episode impressions. Did I get the Comet Medal? Oh no, the Comet Medal is later in this level. But yeah, the reason why people love character tropes so much and why they work is because they're realistic in the sense that these tropes actually exist, but they're exaggerated so that they actually make a difference in the story. Like, that's the reason why you have character archetypes, like the edgy person, or like the optimistic person, or the leader, or the charismatic one, or the sly, devilish one. Like, this is the reason why character tropes exist. They're not meant to be parodies. They're just meant to be exaggerations of character traits that we all have. Exaggerations so that it can make the story more interesting. Because if you exaggerate the character tropes, or character archetypes, you can exaggerate the rest of the story along with that too. I don't know. So, from what I can tell from Umbrella Academy, it's just kind of like, characters. They're trying to be realistic, but, like, I'd rather just have, like, character tropes, like, introducing the characters, and then I want them to get more realistic over time, because if you introduce me smack dab with, oh, bam, these characters are trying to be realistic and act like normal human beings, but with superpowers, like, I'm not really gonna get invested. But if you introduce, like, a character that makes a good first impression by using, like, some kind of trope with, like, maybe a twist, and then you make them more realistic by giving them development, then I'll get invested in, like, the first, like, few minutes of seeing that character, and then I'll get invested in, like, their actual character development because I already love them from the start, and now they're just becoming better and more, like, realistic and more fun, or more, like, relatable as, like, I mean, there's no, like, right way to write characters. I'm just saying, in my preference, like, if you start out with the tropes first and then go into the more realistic writing, you're gonna get me more invested than if you started with the realistic writing and then, like, slowly give them all distinct personalities and, like, motives. I don't know. Anyway, I'm blasting this guy's nipples. But yeah, speaking of writing and, like, tropes, wait, did I talk about this in Dreamforce? Maybe I have. But I recently got addicted to this channel called Overly Sarcastic Productions. And the reason why is because they have one series called Trope Talk. And the person who, like, runs that, like, series, she's just so good. She has such a dry sense of humor. And, like, I don't know. She just has a really dry sense of humor that really, like, I can appreciate. And, like, she talks fast. She doesn't really dwell on any topics for more than she has to. The videos are short, but also long enough to give a thorough explanation of what the tropes are without overstaying its welcome. I literally just repeated that. I wouldn't be a good member on Trope Talk. I wouldn't be good at explaining Trope Talks. But yeah, I think that's, like, part of the reason why, like, some of my interest in writing has also gotten reinvigorated. I want to be able to write, like, a cool story or, like, a cool setting, and, like, because of that, I've also kind of gotten interested in DMing again. And my friend actually forced me to improvise a whole fucking DM session, like a improvised DM, a whole, like, kind of like roleplay session with his character that he made for another friend's campaign. I don't know how I did that. He's like, oh yeah, that was surprisingly good. I'm like, I was literally just thinking off the top of my head. Like, I don't know how you enjoyed that whatsoever. But I guess he did, and he wants me to DM sometime. I'm like, oh god, I really also want to DM sometime, but, like, I'm not mentally prepared, and I never will be, so I guess I just have to do it sometime. I just need an idea for a world, really. I kind of have an idea from one of my recent dreams, which was also really bizarre. That dream was, like, about, like, the end of the world, and, like, I got to see, like, all, like, my family and friends from, like, college, high school, and, like, you know, etc. And, like, all of them were gathering at one place, like, some kind of festival, and everybody was, like, acting happy and cheery and all, etc. But, like, the end of the world was happening, and, like, the sky was, like, blood red, and everybody was, like, if you looked closely enough, you could tell, like, people were kind of crying and, like, sad that the world was ending and they would never see each other again. And then, like, also, like, they called me, like, the savior for some reason. I don't know why. Because I was the one that would initiate the end of the world. Or something, and I didn't want to do that, but they want, like, I don't fucking know. My dreams are depressing and bizarre. I'll do one more level. But yeah, like, I was thinking, like, maybe if I created a world, maybe I could create kind of like a, not post-apocalyptic, but maybe like a near end-of-the-world situation. Where, like, it's kind of like, you know, people are still happy and having good times, but, like, over them, like, overlooming them, they have a supermassive star that's about to blow up in, like, 3 months. Like, I was thinking maybe I could do something like that, or, like, and, like, the sky would still be blood red because it's a supermassive star, it's red. I mean, I don't know. Like, thing is, well, I need to figure out how the solar system in that world would work. Maybe they, like, transported to a new galaxy and then, like, lost all their technology or some shit like that, so it's still, like, fantasy. Or maybe it's, like, maybe, like, an ancient civilization moved to that galaxy to a different planet as the star increased in size. But over, like, when they did that, they could only select a few people, like a few survivors, to repopulate and create culture and civilization on the new planet or moon, wherever they are. That is now in the new increased habitable zone, or like outreach habitable zone. You know what? You know what? Some friends are probably listening to this anyway. I'm not going to talk any more about it than I have to, because if I want to DM this campaign, and I want to use that concept, then I don't really want to share it and have them know what's going on. I mean, it's probably going to be relatively obvious anyway, because I'm not exactly subtle in my writing. Could be a side effect of aphantasia, could also just be a personality trait, or maybe I'm just bad at writing. But, yeah. Nah, it's not a side effect of aphantasia, I'm just not subtle in writing. I can't blame everything on aphantasia as much as I'd love to. But yeah, that's actually a cool idea for a world. I might have to write that down. And I think I have an idea for how it would end. But I don't know what I would do for the rest. I'm going to get the secret star in Supermassive Galaxy, and then I'm going to call this episode quits. This is a very productive episode in terms of, like, star count. We're almost at 50 stars, and I only recorded 4 episodes today. This LP is going to go by quickly if I only do the 120 stars. If I do the 240, then it's gonna be podcast hour. Like, during the green stars. I do want to do the perfect run, but I might just switch over to my Wii U save data and record that episode specifically at 30 frames just so I don't have to get the green stars. Because the green stars suck. They're just awful. They're not fun. Damn. Now that I talked about the world idea, now I kind of want to try and, like, write it out and see if I can make it work conceptually. I should try DMing. Because 2 of my friends DM, and those 2 friends have never actually been players together in the same campaign. And if I could provide that, I'd be really curious to see what kind of dynamic happens. And, yeah. But thing is, now I kind of understand the pain of DMing and improvising, because you have to prepare all this shit. Not like I know how to do that yet, but, like, improvising is hard. And you just have to get used to it. And luckily I know how to randomly bullshit improvise just from, you know, improv. And also Let's Playing. Like, seriously, you wouldn't think it, but, like, Let's Playing games and doing commentary over them makes you really good at just talking about random shit. And, like, going off random tangents and, like, trying to explore every facet of, like, whatever topic you provide possible. And I think because of that, maybe, like, my improvising skills have also improved. Not like it's all because of Let's Playing. Like, I mean, my commentary could still be better, but, like, compare this to literally me 2 years ago playing Galaxy 1, and it's night and day. Where is the last batch of flowers? There is somewhere. I don't know where. Oh. So yeah, you just gotta walk all over this planet, put on all the flowers, and then, yeah, you reach the star. Supermassive galaxy is a cool concept that they never really used beyond those 2 stars. Well, I am done recording. My right arm is kind of feeling it from the awkward position I had to hold the Wiimote in. And this episode's also half an hour long, so in the next episode of Super Mario Galaxy 2, I'll have had my wisdom teeth pulled out. And also I'll be able to give a proper reaction to the Xenoblade 3 Direct. Not tomorrow, though. I'm not going to upload a reaction to that, because I'm not doing a Let's Play of that game, and also I'm going to get my wisdom teeth removed. I don't know. Expect some more episodes. Probably expect some more in Takes Two. I don't know how that LP is going to work in tandem with this one. But point is, expect more stuff. See you soon. Bye-bye.